Good evening. I will call the June 10th, 2026 school committee meeting to order. School Representative Marcus Perkins is going to be running late. Everybody else is present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. And that brings us to the approval of the last meeting minutes from May 27th, 2026.
So moved.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Moving on to the consent agenda. Nominations: Sean Kennedy, Biddeford High School School Counselor; Allison Arsenault, BMS Teacher; William Hahn, APC Teacher; Delaney Roche, BMS Teacher. Appointments: Faul Farah, BIS EdTech 2; Lauren Bryant, BIS EdTech 3; Dana Cleaves, Bus Aide, Van Driver; and Michaela Budd, BIS EdTech 2. Resignations: Susanna Sharp from Biddeford Middle School Literacy Specialist; Elizabeth LeBlanc, Tabitha Frockins, APC Teacher; Jennifer Schauber, BPS School Counselor; Tyler Anderson, Biddeford High School Teacher; Elizabeth Stipien, HR Manager for the district. And under transfers, Ivan Soto, BMS, moving from EdTech 2 to EdTech 3; Samantha Mucci, BPS EdTech 1, moving to EdTech 2; Ed McCaskey, Biddeford Regional Center of Technology EdTech 3, moving to Biddeford Regional Center of Technology Teacher; William York, Biddeford Middle School Self-Contained Special Education Teacher, moving to Biddeford Middle School Special Education Resource Teacher; and William Martin, Biddeford High School EdTech 2, moving to BMS EdTech 2.
Mr. Mayor, before you seek a motion, can I just ask for a 20-second pause to straighten out a possible clerical error?
Yes.
1 second, please.
Good evening, folks. Just the correction on the item E on the transfers. William Martin is replacing a one-year band position that we had filled this year. It's listed there as an ed tech, but he will be filling a band position at Biddeford Middle School.
Thank you. So that is a band position at Biddeford Middle School for William Martin, item E under transfers. Looking for a motion to adopt as with that amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Brings us to our superintendent's report.
All right, good evening, everybody. First and foremost, what a great night we had for graduation on Friday night. I think we were 4 years in a row in a gym with rain, and it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. I think it was just right. And so I want to congratulate the 165 Biddeford High School students who graduated on Friday night. This year we had 12 graduates earn Maine Seal of Biliteracy, 5 seniors enlisted in a branch of the military and awarded more than $77,000 in scholarships. In addition, trying to put all the days together, we had 8th grade promotion last night. Last week before graduation, we had APC graduation, which is a wonderful event. And then on this Friday night, we have adult education graduation. So a lot going on. Congratulations to the 225 Biddeford Regional Technology students who are recognized at the year-end award ceremony. This has been the largest group of students that have completed in history, with 33 scholarship recipients and 156 industry-recognized certifications earned. That means our kids are coming out of there with a certificate that gets them in a place to get a job immediately or continue on, work part-time. That's a big deal. The BHS lacrosse team made a historic gift to Maine Health Oncology. I'd like to recognize the Biddeford High School boys and girls lacrosse programs for their outstanding work with Gloria's game, which raised almost $3,500 for the Maine Health Maine Center of Oncology Department. Not only was it a meaningful tribute to Coach Marsgray's mother, Gloria, but it also resulted in the largest donation ever made to a local organization through a Biddeford sports team. So great work being such caring kids outside of high school life. That's pretty remarkable. As we head into the summer, I'll highlight that our free summer lunch program is still going on, as many of our kids face hunger when they lose access to school lunch. Thanks to the USDA, free meals are available at designated summer sites for all children 18 and under. No registration or ID required. Pillars of Pride. Mark your calendars for Saturday, October 10th at 6 p.m. The event will honor longtime BHS educator Robert Davies and our steadfast community partner for student wellness and success, Maine Health Sports Performance and Physical Therapy. Space is limited, but tickets are available now. I want to say a special thank you to Maureen Grand Mason Photography for being at senior events and capturing student photos. That's a lot of work that she does. And then finally, a couple of things. One, thank you for the citizens who came out yesterday and voted for our budget. We passed it right close to the 2/3, 70% mark. It was a very busy day over here. Probably, let's say, very not like most June elections, where 200 people straggle in. And then thank you to the staff. This will be the last meeting we have before the end of the school year, but teachers have knocked it out of the park this year. We're reviewing our through-year assessment data, and I think we're going to be pretty pleased with the growth our students have made this year once that's able to be presented to you guys either this summer or in the fall.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Ray? Seeing none. Student representative reports. Cordelia Kane.
So the school year is almost over. Softball had a big playoff game yesterday with a win against Massabesic, and qualifying track athletes competed in states this past Saturday. Friday night was graduation, and it was a very nice night. And last night was 8th grade promotion. Finals are going to start on Friday at Biddeford High School. That's about it.
Thank you. Any questions for Cordelia? Megan.
I just have one comment for Cordelia. She did a wonderful job on her speech at graduation on Friday night. So great job, Cordelia. Way to represent.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Very well done. And that will bring us to committee reports. Michelle.
Policy met this afternoon in a special meeting. The bulk of our time was spent on the cell phone policy that's upcoming. You will see that on the agenda for July. I don't remember what our July meeting is, but the July meeting. Also, you will note that night that we will need to suspend the rules to have a first and second reading because the state has mandated an August 1st deadline. So we need to make sure we get our policy on the books in time, but we've been working on that really hard. And we also had visited a school, and I know that our principals have also been in contacts with other schools just to see what we need to make sure we have on the books. Once we get the policy on the books, building leaders will also be working on procedures at that point for their buildings.
Yes, Marie.
Negotiations continue to move along with the ed techs, library aides, and administrative assistants, with the next meeting to be this coming Monday at 3 p.m.
Thank you. Any other committee reports or questions? Seeing none, move on to new business, beginning with a year-end reflection, goals for the next year from principals and directors.
Good evening. So this is an exciting time of year when we begin to wrap things up and allow our staff to sort of take a breather and our students to break away from what they've been doing for the entire year. It also offers a time for our principals to come up here and share with you the goals that they've had for the year, future goals, things that they've done, and accomplishments that they can celebrate and share with you in the public. So a few things in terms of communications. We know that over the year, we've had updates of celebrations and things that have happened for our students. This first slide really just highlights some of those amazing things that have taken place, from girls basketball New England championships from at BIS all the way down to, let's see, the COT and Skills USA competition with 28 students attending and six placing in top 3. There's a gamut of things that our students have done, and we're so proud of all of them. On the right-hand side of this slide, we have parent engagement. That's specific to interacting with the newsletters that are put out. So whether it's the superintendent's newsletters or the principal's newsletters, we're able to look at that data analytically and try to determine what it is about the content perhaps that allows them to engage with it, meaning click through the links and not just sort of breeze over the front page. Ideally, we are very well aware that whatever we put out there, the window for engagement for a long period of time is not there, right? It's quite short. So we are very thoughtful about what goes out on the front and what most important information we want our families to be able to read. So now I'm going to call up each of the principals, and they're going to share a little bit about the celebrations and the future goals within their buildings. First is going to be Meg Schrader from Biddeford Primary School.
Thank you. So reporting out tonight, I really wanted to acknowledge the goals that we had spoken about last year with the adoption of the newest version of Math and Focus and then into reading. What we looked at for academic growth, we saw that growth percentiles for our K2 students were above national norms for growth in math in K2 and at or approaching national norms in reading, which was, I think, our biggest learning curve with a new program. So looking at those factors, it was very exciting for us to see that this investment in common curricular approaches, collaboration that was able to happen, common language for students in their learning is already paying off. We also had spoken about a schedule change that allowed for 40 minutes of win time intervention for all students. And we were able to serve 135 students in an intervention capacity and small group throughout the year. Within those interventions, we saw between 72% of our students meeting at least 80% to 90% success rate on what the instruction and progress monitoring tools showed. So very great growth within that targeted population as well. Final goal was attendance and truancy. We met both goals in terms of reducing chronic absenteeism. So that felt really great, reflecting on the specific goals that we were outlining. Moving forward, we would like to continue to see that literacy growth with another year of implementation and really focus on our math growth in partnership with watching these students move to BIS, because we're looking at data at that K4 setting also with our parent council. Throughout the summer, we're hoping with the support team to look at how to come back to school with the behavioral intervention supports that will make that new position very successful in order to support our students in accessing their learning. So that support team is coming together to really look at that, including the common approach to all behavior and common language across the school. So we're very excited about that. In addition to that, we've got some moving to do. Very excited to move into that new building. I know many of you have been through. It's very exciting for us, and we're starting that phase of packing and planning and the timelines for that. So the next goal will be, how do we move all these students safely through the building and efficiently through the building in terms of arrival, dismissal, supervision. So that would be another goal that we have. Thank you.
Any questions, Marie?
Megan, so happy to see growth in the academic area.
Yeah.
And also in the attendance and truancy with regards to chronic absenteeism. There are no specific, data numbers there, but if I were to ask, whether you know it off the top of your head or that can be, relayed to the board with regards to like state and national, where are our numbers? So we're making improvements, you've met your goal, all awesome, but where do we fall with
Yeah.
regards to state, national?
Absolutely. So we have that data available. We shared it with our parent council in terms of developing our next year's goal. So what we are seeing is, I don't want to state incorrectly, but we've got 40 to 60% of our students meeting national norms within that range. I can't cite it exactly for you, but we are looking at that data at that more specific level too. Not just where do they start, but where are they in comparison with that national norm in a lot of different measurement. So we have the data. I'm happy to send that report along to you from our parent council as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's very exciting to hear, that we're moving in a very positive direction here. And thank you to your staff and your team for all of the work they're doing with regards to both those areas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Megan.
So I think it's been great as well. It's great to always be trending in that direction. I understand you've done a lot of work on implementing these curriculums. But I'm also impressed to hear that the truancy and chronic absentee numbers are going in the right direction. So I just wonder what it is you think that's specifically that's going on at BPS this year that's contributed to that number going in the right direction.
My perspective is the cohesiveness within our support team and the resources that we've had available. We have multiple people on the support team that are targeting family support. What are the barriers and how are we helping them? So I really have to give a lot of credit to the partnership between the support team and our classroom teachers, really looking at what is the specific situation that is contributing to attendance or difficulties with attendance. So that collaboration, I feel like, is a huge difference, and the expansion of the diverse skill set that we have with people on the support team to kind of look at how are we connecting them with a welcome center for resources that might be a transportation barrier. How are we making sure that they're getting their immunizations and vaccinations in order to be compliant? So I think there's a lot of different factors, and therefore that dynamic relationship across the support team and with classroom teachers, it's all of it coming together.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Principal Schrader? No. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I have the exciting opportunity to tell you about Biddeford Intermediate School. Want to shout out some of our celebrations from the year that we had super strong reading growth. This has been our second year implementing interreading, and we had 68% of our third grade students and 67% of our fourth grade students at or above the 40th percentile on our NWA, which is stronger than it has been in several years. So we were super excited to celebrate that growth. We also have that win and intervention block that Megan just spoke about. And within those groups, Mrs. Duchesne and Mrs. Quigley pull students, 62% of our students showed growth in the area of math that Mrs. Duchesne saw, and 73% in reading on the NWA. So again, strong growth within our academic interventions this year. We did dive deep into multilingual learners. We added a 0.5 teacher this year and shared that with BPS. We were able to graduate 12 fourth grade students with those services this year. So they have met what they needed for scores on the WIDA test. And so they will be moving out of services and back to the general education. 8 more are going to move to middle school next year, only needing 1 block of support rather than 2. So great growth, and shout out to our multilingual teachers. Shouting out our school positive culture. Again, we've done the Earning the Stripes and the monthly assemblies. Our students really look forward to that. I did want to add in, pre-K has been with us, so along with that positive school culture, it has been new for BIS this year to have lots of little people in our building. Very exciting for some of our staff to embrace that and welcome them, but really just shout out the staff's hard work from the office staff, custodial, maintenance, right? Everyone pitched in to make that successful and get them on board. Pre-K staff have been phenomenal, right? Packing up, moving, adjusting, being within our space and being in our school and being part of it all. So shout out to all of them. Goals in progress, we're going to continue to strengthen our math instruction. We have some summer work to do regarding our pacing guides. So that new Math in Focus version came out this year. Again, while we made growth, we're always looking where we can grow more. So we're going to be working on some professional development for staff this summer to align that more closely and check our pacing guides. And summer work, we're going to be, again, working on that Math in Focus, but also we're transitioning to infinite campus grading. And so 3 teachers have piloted that this spring, worked through some of the bugs. And so we know what to tweak and adjust over the summer so that we can have a seamless rollout in the fall.
Great. Congratulations on a successful year. Questions for Principal Nato? Megan?
Well, first I want to acknowledge the pre-K piece, Lindsay, because you were supposed to have them until December and we're in June. And so, kudos to you as well and all your staff for just being so flexible and doing a fantastic job with the pre-K. I'm really glad to hear that 0.5 ELL teacher's been so successful. Do you feel like that's been enough of a resource for you to have? Do you need more?
The way that our schedule works, we do our our reading and writing instruction in the morning. So it has been super beneficial. We don't service students in the area of mathematics, and that's when our math instruction is in the afternoon.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Marie?
So again, kudos to like a great school year. Happy to see the improvements with the WIN and the intervention successes going on. With the multilingual, you had 12 students test out. What was the total number of our kids that were needing of multilingual
We have
services?
just above 60 students in our school.
Okay, so we had 12 test out. That's awesome. And again, the 0.5, as Megan, questioned, if we need more, because we know our numbers are high. And the more on board we get these kiddos, the better it is for the entire population and especially our staff. So great job. Happy to see all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Principal Nato?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Good evening again. Good evening again. Want to start by just acknowledging and thanking the faculty and staff at Biddeford Middle School. It's been a wonderful school year. And you come this time of year, it's really an opportunity to think of how much got done, how much we were able to accomplish throughout the course of the year. And I'm very appreciative to the teachers and staff in our building. Celebrations at Biddeford Middle School. Just want to highlight Assistant Principal Enrico Mariello and some of the morning meetings and celebrations that we participate throughout the course of the year. Usually once or twice a month, we do a Monday morning meeting where we have an opportunity to highlight students of the month. Tiger Pride Points. Tiger Pride Points was something that was relatively new the last couple of years, where we just have staff members capture kids doing the right thing. We celebrate them every Friday, take their photograph, put them in a parent newsletter, and then we got a spinning wheel that goes around on our morning meetings, and the kids are super excited about an opportunity to win extra recess or maybe a baked cookie by Miss Emerson in the office. So it's always nice to bring the school together as a community and highlight some of those positive events. You'll remember back in the fall, our Best Buddies program was highlighted as the chapter of the year. That was a big thrill for us. Also want to mention the efforts of our staff in building a unified basketball program this year at the middle school level. Lots of both students of need and also regular ed students that were participating in that. Really proud with the season that they had. Also want to just recognize the fact that we did offer this year for the first time a unified PE class, where a lot of those students in the special ed department were partnered with students that were in a regular ed and in a PE setting, where they would work cooperatively with each other. And Mr. Millett, I think, did a super job with that. It was a very, very highly successful. And then again, we hosted in December Reese Across America, a big event where, as we know, and their convoy on their trip over to Arlington National Cemetery, they were able to stop with us. We were able to celebrate with them and honor them for their work. So again, another one of those events where we can put the kids in the pack and really celebrate something as a community, really feel good about who we are. Goal progress. I'm super excited about the implementation of STEM plus M. I know a few months ago we talked about that program. We were fortunate last week to actually host a 2-day training at the middle school where we brought in some folks from Saco Middle School, the Saco School Department, and also some of our own Biddeford staff as well. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment brought in, renovated a space that I just think is going to be incredible for our kids. So to see that come into fruition, to plan for that, and to actually begin to see what the lab looks like, and to participate in that training and what education will look like for those kids in that class is pretty special. And then, of course, the continued increased multilingual support, professional development that we're working constantly with our staff in making that experience the best we can for them. The summer project, not on this list. I just want to also recognize this year we started at Biddeford Middle School a staff advisory council. We met today after school for our last time with a mentor that I've been working with, Miss Paula Callan. She is absolutely wonderful. We had a tremendous year of growth, and I'm really proud of the work that we made as far as a school in terms of that. Big project for the summer is making sure STEM plus M is up and running. There's a lot of new equipment, a lot of moving parts, trying to fit that in the schedule. What I think is going to happen is the kids are going to come back and see this exciting program, and everybody's going to want to be part of it. And it's going to be like, how do we find enough seats to make this happen? So there'll be some creative thinking when it comes to that.
Thank you, Principal Dakota. Marie?
Scott, how many students is STEM plus M going to serve with this inaugural year?
Thank you. The way we structured it this year was 24 students. It's 24 seats in every specific class. So we structured it with our current UA schedule. Marie, not trying to go crazy, right? Just trying to bring the program in, welcome it. We do have a couple of additional opportunities. We think it's going to be close to 140 seats throughout the course of the year. And we're close to 190 students in the 7th grade. My goal is to give every kid the opportunity that wants that, an opportunity to do it. If 140 meets that goal, then wonderful, but I also want to be creative at coming up with some new alternatives without necessarily shutting down the other UA programs that we offer.
All right. And my last question, looking again, and it seems to be an arching theme here with multilingual support. Where are we on this? Are we where we need to be? Have we hired all our people in place? Like, where are we going into the summer?
Yeah, the hiring piece is very positive. You proved tonight a multilingual teacher that'll work. She's fresh out of school. We were super excited to have her. She's very motivated to be in the Biddeford school system. We're always working hard. It's the biggest piece for us at the middle school is just really trying to partner with the teachers, making sure that we're doing a nice job with best practices in the classroom while delivering the best services for them as well. I know you asked a few of the other principals, Marie. I think we're in the 90s as far as numbers, and always trying to test kids out as well, trying to be better.
Okay. Thank you.
Megan?
Mine's more of a comment. I'm just really excited STEM plus M is coming into the middle school. I'm glad STEM's back in the middle school. My kids did STEM in the middle school and I loved it. And I think you've done some great work around developing such a positive and inclusive culture at the middle school, that this is such a great time to come in with a powerful academic program. So I'm very excited to
Thank you,
see
Megan.
next year. So
Thank you very much.
great. It's a lot of work.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
It's good for the kids.
good.
Tim?
Yes, I miss it, Dakota. And actually, I think this goes to Lindsay also with the intermediate school. And I'm not going to throw out a name, but I was in a line yesterday for the primary elections. And it was a long line, which was good. It showed a great voter turnout. And sandwiched between two parents, and their children were part of the Gifted and Talented program, which I think you maybe share a teacher between intermediate school and heading on up into middle school.
That's correct. Miss
I
Ty.
just wanted to make a comment, if I could, that both these parents had great reviews of whoever is teaching that Gifted and Talented program. Their children are part of it. They wish to continue with it, and they had nothing but great things to say about both of your schools and that particular teacher.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions for Principal Dakota? Seeing none. Thank you.
Good evening. We've had a wonderful year at BHS. It's hard to be asked to put our celebrations on one slide when I could stand up here and talk to you for an hour. So I'll stick with some of the highlights that we've had from last year. Our Student Ambassador Program, which is a program that we developed last year to really help welcome not only our multilingual families, but also new students to Biddeford, has really grown. We have, I know the question will come up later, but we have 156 multilingual students in our building, and 106 of our new students were paired with a heritage language speaker, no matter what that language was, which was really neat. This is the first time we've been able to meet every native language that we're seeing in our building. They've really felt welcomed and connected. We spent a lot of time kind of surveying, spending time. They've given some great feedback on how we can improve that program for next year. So we're working on that. 2 years ago, we began our work as a BAR model school, which is building assets, reducing risks. And while we're not officially training with the BAR team any longer, we've decided to take some of those program aspects and keep them. So we're really looking at the interventions and how we're doing that. The tier 1, 2, and 3s. Over 100 students have been discussed at that BAR level. And then some moved to our student support team for increased interventions. We've really been able to look at back on track plans and get kids involved with that. As part of that, through our summer school program, we've always offered English and math. This year, we're able to offer some summer school credit recovery for our ESOL students, so that they can recover if they have between a 50 or 70 in that class, try to recover that grade so that they can move on next year. And our team has really worked well with our students that are taking the WIDA test to help them understand how important paying attention to that test and really taking it seriously is, and what that means as they then move up through their classes. As Mr. Ray said earlier, the main seal of biliteracy, last year we had 10 students earn that. This year we had 12. We had several others within a point or two, so really close, and really neat work that we're doing there. As you know, we completed our NEAS self-study and our collaborative conference visit. We spent a lot of time on that as a staff, and then as well as with reporting to all of you and with the NEAS accreditation team. They were incredibly impressed. As I've shared before, one of them had been on 9 different visits, and she said it was unbelievable to see the things that Biddeford were doing there. We shared an executive summary and a 2-page document of commendations with our staff. So I think it was really nice for the staff to see the hard work that we're putting in. And we've been able to identify 2 priority areas of growth that we'll be continuing to work on. Through that process, we developed a clear vision of our lifelong learner, core values and beliefs about that, and that those are now displayed throughout the buildings, and kind of drive some of the work that we're doing as far as culture and climate with our students. Some of the other goals that I'll just touch on quickly is strengthening our pathways for our students with both APC and the Center of Technology, looking at how we can meet needs, doing some student internships, and really getting kids the skills that they're identifying they want so that they can move on and do something that they may not have had an ability to do in the past. So that's been really neat to see. One of our summer projects, we have several, but is partnering with the Maine DOE. We're training 10 staff members. There's a program of restorative practices through the state called Culture of Care. And so we'll start with an implementation team and then spread that through the whole school next year. So it's not the traditional passing of the talking stick and kumbaya circles, but rather how are we looking at our practices in our interactions with each other and with our students, and really making sure that we're repairing relationships and being able to work together.
Thank you, Principal Murray. Questions? Marie and then Megan.
Just a couple of comments. Great year. We've been hearing good stuff, all year from, various student successes, team successes, what have you. It wasn't on here, but I attended the spring sports assembly the other night. It was very lively. And it was very impressive to see the number of students who had achieved, I think there were like 100 or just over 100 Golden Tiger Awards, and then the number of seniors. Iron Tiger, and then is it the Golden Tiger with 9? I mean, for all 4 years, it was just impressive. And then to see the diversity, and then just all the joy. They were just having a great time and celebrating one another. So, another, great event amongst all the other things that, Mr. Ray mentioned, going on with our graduations and our, what have you. So great job. Good to see that kind of lively atmosphere.
Mine's a comment too, because I guess Marie and I are just going to make a comment to every principal, but we don't get to interact with you guys very much. So we're just going to take this opportunity. But I said it a few meetings back, but I just, in the spirit of kind of wrapping up this year, I think the days or the half days that you guys do as a high school of, shutting down academics and doing whether it's SEL or it's focusing on passions or looking towards the workforce, those days you do periodically are so important for engagement and helping kids learn how to be students in the classroom and what they're doing this for. What's the purpose of sitting in the class 6 hours a day? Why? It's just, I wish more high schools did this. I think you'd have higher engagement. So it takes a lot of creativity, a lot of effort to pull that off. You're reaching out to community members, you're pulling that in, you're accessing and engaging kids at all different levels. So, that didn't make the slide, but when I think of Biddeford High School and I think of all those opportunities kids have had sprinkled in with this in their academics, that's the awe factor for me. So, yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
Hello. So for those of you who came to the APC graduation, you heard about the Chiazzo family. So the Chiazzo family donated $15,000 to APC this year in hopes of, Bill Chiazzo was an English teacher at the high school for many, many years. And the hope was, when we first met, Shelley Kane and I met with Greg Chiazzo, was the hope of, what can we give back to these students at APC that might not take the traditional route to go to college and do different things? So, and how else could we help him and honor his father? So one of the things that we did, we had 12 graduates this year. We took some of that donation and each student got something that would help them towards their second chapter. We had 7 out of 12 of our graduates are going to either YCCC or SMCC. So we got them gift cards to get books, like something that is going to just help a little bit more, and a water bottle, because who doesn't want a water bottle? And then we got a couple students where one's going to work at FedEx, one's going to be a mechanic, so we got them steel toe boots. Something that was for them, that's going to help them along the way. And we gave that to them on our senior day, the last day of the seniors. So that was kind of cool to do. And then they also, like I said, Bill Chiazzo was an English teacher for many, many years. And he loved to journal with his students. And he said Greg said the biggest thing for him was journaling, not just to grade, but have that communication amongst the students and the teacher. So with that money, we have started we're in the process of doing our first inaugural summer program. So this year it'll be 7 students. It'll be an English credit. The cool thing it's going to be we have some students who have not attended APC and they are on that fence. Do we want to? Is APC for us? Do we want to do? So we'll have them. We have 3 of them. that will be also joining them. So they'll be able to do we're looking at going to the botanical gardens, and they'll take this and they'll be able to journal, and they'll have a portfolio at the end of the year. And it's a lot, not just to get that English credit, but to get them to experience what APC would be like. And then also get to experience things like going to the botanical gardens that might not be something that they've ever done before. So that is one of the cool things that we have, and it'll hopefully be running from years to go, maybe many, many years after I'm gone. But so along with that, so I'll just kind of go to the goals. Strengthening collaboration, morale, professional culture, and is always something, right, that we have to work on. APC being a smaller thing, I think sometimes we have to put a little bit extra work into that. And then increasing student engagement has been a thing that I work on daily, trying to get these kids here. One of the big things we have is moving into the new space. And one of the cool things that we've been able to do is get the students involved in moving into that new space, seeing like what some furniture is going to look like, what they would like the rooms to look like, what it's going to be. And if you guys could see how excited they are about this new space, walking through it, seeing what they're going to get, seeing that they are, I guess the word is worthy of being able to have this cool space. They're so excited. They've come up with plans of how to use it, like what's going to be. I know I've said this before, but one of the big things is we're going to have a cafeteria now. And so like before, we always eat in third block. They're never with their friends. They're always kind of, Morris, can I sit with my friends? Or they're in my office trying to eat. So I think that'll be a super cool thing for them. A small thing that we don't think about when we're kind of in this small space. So a lot of the summer project will be organizing and getting that space ready. They have done a fabulous job. Shout out to these kids because they have moved some boxes. They have packed some boxes for us. They have thrown away. They have cleaned. They have done so much. So just in these week and a half, them being able to, I have students that have showed up this week that haven't shown up in like a month because it's just that having that conversation with them, that community service that they really, really do enjoy. So it's been a great couple weeks.
Great. Thank you. Questions?
All right, are you gonna go or should I go?
Megan and then Marie.
I mean, obviously, we love your program. I think this is amazing for kids to have that safe space in school, and this level of engagement is terrific. I'm so glad to hear that the new space is going to work out. But this summer program, this has my heart, right? Because we worry about these at-risk kids in these long breaks, and summer always is like terrifying. So the idea that they're going to be engaged and have all these opportunities, like I just couldn't say enough about how great that's going to be in the relationship building. And so I'm just so happy to hear this. This is great
I
news.
think it's true. Just to note too, is I had a conversation with one of my students recently, and he is a varsity baseball player, and he's gone back and forth of like, do I want to go back to Maplewood? Do I want to? And it was very interesting. He was like, I want to show people that APC isn't just behavior kids and that. So, and I think that's true. And I think we all need to know it's not 10 years ago, right? When it was all the kids that were causing behaviors. These are kids that just sometimes just need a little bit smaller space, right? Smaller stuff going on. So I do have a varsity football player and a varsity baseball player, which I think is really cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
Get out of Megan.
Great job.
Thank you. Good job.
Good evening. We had two students that qualified for nationals. They just got back this past weekend. They didn't place in the top three, but I think the important thing is that they had the experience. One of the students is a BHS student, and he's only a sophomore. So last week, he was coming up with a lot of ideas about what he was going to be doing this year in his program, I think, to get back to nationals. So I think it was pretty motivational for him. As been said, we graduated 225 students this year, which is the largest in a long time, and 190 students earned industry recognized certificates. For example, our CNA class had a 100% pass rate on their state license. We have students that passed in the computer tech program, their cyber security CompTIA exams. There's two levels of that. So those are just some examples of the certifications. Serve Safe, Restaurant Management, and there's a whole long list. EMT has a whole long list with FEMA, and I didn't, we only got one slide, so I didn't list them all. During the past year, we've increased our offsite learning experiences, put students out in the field. I think that's really, they get a lot out of it. A new relationship with Central Maine Power. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but this year we put in 2 telephone poles on the Main Street side. Those telephone poles were donated. One of our advisors brought in his bucket truck, and so students are learning. We had students that in our electrical program, that was a pathway they wanted to explore, and so that's what we did. And as a result of that, 4 of our students, their first year students, coming back for their second year, but this summer they will be in a paid summer internship with CMP with that track. We also, again, have another student that will be entering Pratt Whitney into their apprenticeship program, and I'm currently working on a pre-apprenticeship relationship with 2 other local manufacturers. This is the direction, one of the directions that we need to continue to do and cement for our students. That's, it's really important. And I also want to just reiterate that many kids that go into apprenticeship, they're also earning college credits while they're in that apprenticeship. So it's, and it's all paid for by the company. Our auto body students, as you know, I didn't have an instructor. And so our second year students came back to us to a surprise. We were very lucky. Our local auto body shops each took one of our students. All of those students, the companies wanted to hire them upon graduation without question. One of our students, they're sending him, he is going to continue working for them, and they're sending him in September down south for more training. So just the opportunities for these kids, if they pursue those paths of interest, are available to them. We have always done some middle school programming, and this year we did something a little different. Instead of our summer camps, we offered 2 after-school power equipment clubs, one in the fall, one in the spring. Those were both very successful. And many of those students that participated in the club are now going to take the program, the course, this starting in September. Continued work is going to just continue to improve what we already do, continue to solidify more apprenticeships and more off-site learning opportunities for our students. I do have 3 staff positions open. We interviewed today for our EMT position, which that person needs to be dual certified, but we have a couple of candidates, and I think it would be a win with either one. So I'm hopeful about that. I guess that's about it. I just presented to you about a month ago, so I didn't want to bore you again. So if you have any questions, happy to answer anything that you may have. The other thing I just want to note, there's a lot of data shared today. Our students on their third-party assessments that they have to take, the majority of them are scoring above the state and national level. So I want to, this is a big thank you and appreciation. I'm very fortunate to have the staff that I have. They do a great job with the students. And we have a very high safety record as well.
Marie?
I'm just always wowed by what's going on over there, the improvements, the forward thinking that's going on, the programs we're bringing in, the successes, the opportunities that our students in the area are getting. And again, kudos to your staff and to your administrative team for, you know, and really for our central office and everyone here on the board for just really making this like, you know, an important piece of our children's, opportunities and education. And again, it's just very impressive and so awesome to see. And look forward to what keeps coming.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is like Burcott is the Ivy League of Voc schools. I mean, really, I
wouldn't
just
go that far.
Well, listen, I mean, I'm looking at this and it's like
I
they've got
prefer to
these
keep the bar lower.
Well, no, I'm telling you, you've got these opportunities to go to like the Skills USA piece, and then you're developing these internships. And not for nothing, it's hard to hire a Voc teacher because these people could be making more, right, in their actual jobs. And somehow you've tripled the size of programming just in the time I've been on the board. So when I think of all the plates you have flying in the air, like, oh, we don't have an auto body teacher, so now I've created these 3 internships that these kids have gotten hired in. And I mean, it's unbelievable. You guys can take anything and roll with it and create new pathways. There's 1,000 pathways within what you do. I mean, it's impressive. So I can't, obviously, a Voc program is great, but there's something extra happening here for every kid that gets enrolled. So I can't say enough good. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's an Ivy League Voc
There you
program.
go.
I'm coining that right now.
Tim.
That's a lot. That's a lot to live up to, Paulette.
I know.
Ivy League, so
It
She can
is.
do it.
you've got another bar that you have to meet, another standard. I think COT is cool, and it's probably a lot of better ways of saying that, but I've been there and worked with you, and I think what COT does is fantastic. And students certainly have a wonderful opportunity to get involved in many different areas, and you make it happen. And one thing that we don't, or at least I don't anyway, is publicly, kudos to you. I mean, you always give kudos to staff, and you give kudos to your programming and students that are doing very well in competitions. But I just want to publicly say, Paulette, I think you do a wonderful job. You're the person that drives it, and good for you. Congratulations. You had a great year.
Thank you, Tim.
A great year for everyone. Can we do like a round of
Yeah.
applause for like what's going on in this district? This was my favorite meetings. Like, didn't hear from Jeremy much, heard from you guys. This was terrific.
Meeting's not over.
Okay.
Careful what you wish for. Because I intentionally, during my superintendent's report, I intentionally thanked the staff in our schools, teachers, ed techs, custodians, because this was coming up. And I think of the principals and the group out here that we have here. You know what? They show up every day. Some days when I go to bed and I'm still getting a text, I'm wondering if we're going to show up in the morning time. They pick up texts and phone calls at any hour of the day. They go to bed at night worrying about the staff in their building and wake up first thing in the morning to check the phone to see what crisis has developed. They work weekends. They deal with bullying outside of school. They deal with all of the things our society deals with, while also trying to work with the staff to create a positive environment for hard jobs. Hold people to a standard. Work with kids, work with parents, work with visitors in their buildings, while at the same time trying to have a family and a life. And, it's pretty remarkable what they do. And so I consider myself one of the luckiest because of these guys. Because they get it done. And when you have principals and central office staff that are competent, are driven, and care about what they do and the community. I mean, look at the tenure out here of people who have worked in Biddeford. I'll throw myself into that. I've been here 14 years, getting old. Mandy, I think you've been here for a career. Paulette, a career. Scotty, almost forever. We went a little brief away, but you're a career. Shelley's been here. Most districts don't have that. Do we have our challenges? You're darn right we do. Every single day, there is something that is a challenge for us. I think that's probably par for the course. But you also know you're going into a situation with people that want to do what's right. We have disagreements, but we get through them. We have tough conversations. We get through them. And that's what I appreciate about this team. Glad you guys see it. Glad I have them working with me. Because quite frankly, they're the ones that make the job doable. So thank you guys.
Thank you. That will bring us to item B, which is the approval of a job description for the Director of Multilingual Learning Programs, Tri-District.
So moved. You need a motion?
I believe we do.
Second.
Motion from Marie, second from Marie, second from Amy. Marie.
I just want to say there is a lot on that person's plate. When I through and looked at everything, there's a lot of things to be accountable for. And I know these people are difficult to find. So I just wanted to put it out there that people should know that what we're asking this person to do is a lot.
Amy.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been back and forth around whether this is the right split on this position, right? Would we find a better candidate if we had a full-time directorial position and split that other half with something else? I think that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. But also, I think this is a moment to think about, like, we're constrained by the budget, and the folks voted for this budget in a landslide yesterday. And I hope that people can see the ways in which these positions and those positions are a pipeline to economic growth for the city of Biddeford, right? That's what we're doing here. That's the whole point. Is there a moral component to making sure people are educated? Of course there is. Is there a moral component to making sure that kids can speak the language that's dominant around them so that they can function? Sure, yes. And also, this job has a lot on their plate to make things work for a whole bunch of folks. And so I wish we had more money, but I think we have to trust our team that this is the right split to get it done.
Emily.
Yeah, I have been on the record that I think this should be a full-time directorial position and we need a teacher, right? I think we're all on the same page that that's where we wish we were. Necessarily when that will happen, we're not sure about. But I think there is some value to having a leader who is also doing the job or who understands the job, especially if they're coming from out of district. But I do want to just make sure that when we say halftime teacher, we need to make sure everybody understands that that's not just time in the classroom, right? We need to make sure that, because when you're an ML teacher, you have, similar to special ed, there's a whole lot of paperwork and testing and all this stuff that has to happen per kid. And so when you're the teacher of record for a certain number of children, that's a lot of hours just in and of itself. So I trust this team to know that and figure out how many kids should be on this person's caseload with the other things that they're doing. But I do think there is some value to this person also knowing that knowing what it is to be an ML teacher in this district, likely coming from outside of the district. But yes, I will approve it. But I think this position deserves to be full-time, just directorial. And I hope that we can move in that direction in future budget seasons.
Marie.
As I said before, and I think the two of you as well, I think, and I'm sure we're going to be assessing this as we go to see how this works. At least we've got someone to oversee this in a, like a part-time role, but I would hope that as we assess this, we take a very honest, look at how it worked and would it be better as a full-time position moving forward? And, you know, and then letting our, you know, constituents in our community know that, you know, that may be the better fit. So I just want to say, we're up and running. We've got this person going. For me, it's going to be a lot of looking at, because there's a lot there. So, you know, it's going to be important just to keep an eye on things and see if we need to really up the ante here. So I just want that on the record.
Michelle?
Actually, I have a question. In reading the job description, and because I have a child that is a TESOL teacher, I'm just kind of curious because it mentioned experience with curriculum. Do we have like a curriculum that we use, or are we still having to piecemeal curriculums together?
Hi, good question, Michelle. Tough act to follow. Paulette being the Ivy League, I'll stand up here as a fifth grade graduate. We have recently reached out to several demographically similar districts to find out what they're using for curriculum. Two in particular, Lewiston and Auburn, are using a product from National Geographic that they are really, really fond of. And this year we were able to order sample materials for both our primary grades and also our high school grades and kind of use it as a pilot light. A lot of those are consumables though, and it is a significant investment. It is something that we, A, discovered after we had already done our preliminary budget run. B, would have to be blessed by our curriculum committee, given the size of the potential investment. We're talking $35,000, $40,000 per annum. And C, we really wanted to have the buy-in of the new director, and that be sort of like P1 for them entering into the position. I think if that person isn't bought in, that's kind of kneecapping them from the start. So we are certainly looking at it, but right now, the long and short of your answer is that outside of like sheltered language instruction, everybody's kind of resourcing themselves. And you know, every year Deb Welch Thompson comes to me and says, can I have $100 to buy books or whatever the thing is? And so again, one of the reasons to have a director is to align that vertically.
That's what I was wondering. So that is hopefully the intent, is to start bringing all of these
100%.
things together, all the different schools, all the different teachers, and have one direction, one goal.
Right. I mean, we've invested several $100,000s in math curriculum to get some alignment between our schools. I think we can do a fraction of that for our ML program. But again, I'd like our director, who has expertise that Dr. Sierra and I lack in this niche area, to be kind of taking the lead on that.
Any other discussion on this approval? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. And that will bring us to item C, which is the first reading of an overnight field trip to Japan in 2028.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Are there chaperone openings for that trip? And on to our school committee meeting calendar for 2026, 2027.
So in the
Liam, could I
pack-
just, sorry,
Go ahead,
Mr.
Chris.
Ray, can I just make a note? There is a typographical error that I wanted to bring to the board's attention since you're considering a reading, and that is that the October policy meeting would not be the 7th as written, it would be the 14th. So I would have Carrie reflect that change, but just making you aware of that before you consider a reading.
Need a motion?
So just, yeah, I don't know if you necessarily need a motion for the calendar. It's more informative and to
Okay.
enter into your phone or whatever. Just want to make a note that the holiday on a Wednesday in November is the biggest change on the 2nd. So then you follow up with a 4th where it's right before Thanksgiving, and I'm not sure many people will be here, and then you get the same thing on the 23rd. So go through that piece. Obviously, you know, depending on the situation, we can add more. But this is, you know, an outline for where we would be going into next year.
Thank you. Any questions on the calendar? Thank you. Seeing none, we'll move on to the first reading of policy to revise, which is the weapons, violence, and school safety policy.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to second reading of a policy to strike, non-discrimination, equal opportunity, and affirmative action.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. And now a series of second readings of policies to revise, beginning with procedure for reports of dangerous behavior by students.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Report of dangerous behavior by student.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Student discrimination and harassment complaint procedure.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Student sex discrimination harassment complaint procedure.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Hazing.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. School system commitment to standards for ethical and responsible behavior.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. And student transportation services.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Student code of conduct.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Public comment at school committee meetings.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. If I could ask Chris to come up to give an overview on this policy, as I did receive a constituent feedback. I think it'd be helpful for myself, board, to be aware of the changing rules and dynamics for this one.
Sure, thanks. So the proposed revisions to policy BEDH come to you in the wake of a recent state of Maine law court decision in the case Blanchard v. the Augusta School Board. I won't get into the weeds with you about the details, but basically the chair of that board was attempting to utilize their existing policy BEDH to make assessments about whether or not the speech of a constituent, actually not someone who lived in Augusta, but someone who was attending school committee meetings and giving comment about whether the content of that speech was obscene or appropriate. And he was squelched repeatedly by the chair, sued the district, and prevailed in the Maine law court because obscenity, for example, was not defined in the speech. And so we asked Drummond to take a look at the holding in that decision and our existing policy, and to see where we were within rights for you as a board to make rules to run your own meetings, how you wanted those meetings structured, how the agenda is structured, whether time limits are imposed, who's responsible for imposing those time limits, and whether or not you had the right to define what obscene language is, what prurient language is, and that if you spelled it out in policy and didn't just leave it up to the board's discretion to say that's obscene or that's inappropriate, that if you codified that in policy, there wouldn't be any of that vagary, and you can, in fact, curb certain types of speech without risking a claim of viewpoint discrimination. So you still have full authority to set reasonable rules and conduct your own meetings, and these revisions continue to exercise that same authority. The board, the 3 school committee members who sit on the standing advisory committee for policy were in favor of instituting time limits, having a sign-in requirement, prioritizing residents. This is something a lot of districts do, folks, and you know, the book burners haven't come to the dais yet, but the day may come when they do. And what we've seen in some other school districts is that roving troops of advocacy groups from out of state or out of town will come and monopolize a board meeting, and we'll step in front of, tax-paying residents or parents who have kids in the school, consume all of the time during public comment, and then your constituents who elected you to this office aren't able to be heard in public. So that was a change that was made to clarify. And then there are a couple other pieces in there, housekeeping, disruption provision that survives but is clarified, some podium rules and some tighter mechanics. Again, prioritizing residents over kind of third-party interest groups.
Thank you. Any questions for the assistant superintendent? Seeing none, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Brings us to rules of order.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Brings us to our public participation. Seeing none, we're on to other communication from members of the school committee. Marcus, would you like to present your report?
Sure.
Marcus Perkins.
I didn't really have anything, so this is kind of off my head. I just want to thank everybody who has donated to the Don Wilson remodel of the gym. And I just want to wish all the students good luck on their finals this week and part of next week.
I do have one actually.
Thank you, Marcus. Megan?
The football team is doing a fundraiser on Juneteenth at Waterhouse Field from 10 to probably 2. We're doing a car wash donations only. So, you can give whatever you want if you want to give or if not. But it's La Kermesse that weekend. So if your car gets dirty and you'd like to stop by and have some hardworking gentlemen wash your car, we'll be at Waterhouse Field all day on Friday, June 19th.
Not doing any of the work, right?
Just unlocking the gates and managing the chaos.
Thank you. Other communications? Seeing none, I'll just mention again, congratulations to all the graduates this year. I had an opportunity to go to the Alternative Pathways graduation here and the Biddeford High School graduation last Friday, which were both really excellently done. Nice job to Cordelia, to Principal Murray, and to all the student speakers who did a really nice job at putting together that event, and all those who organized. So I want to thank those. And then also Biddeford Regional Center of Technology, their culinary arts program actually provided the luncheon for our election workers yesterday. So I wanted to thank them for that work and accommodating those who are, many of them volunteers for our elections, and they really enjoyed it. I heard from our interim city clerk today that they enjoyed the meal, and it really gave them the boost they needed for what was for many a more than 12-hour day working the election. So I want to thank the school and the culinary arts program for stepping up for that.
See, Ivy League.
And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Amy, second
Second.
by Emily. All those in favor? That is